And welcome back to another weekly live stream. I'm Peter.
My name is Eric.
And well, we're getting to the point where at some point I'm afraid Eric will actually be sitting next to me again.
Yeah, indeed.
Luckily we're not there yet, so I'm going to enjoy it while it lasts.
Yeah. And we both got our first shot, right?
Yeah. I got it this weekend indeed. It's still, well, the shot itself I didn't feel, but yeah, the after effects are still
after effects.
Noticeable. Well, yeah, like side effects.
No problem for me. I liked it. I want a second
like the
one.
Side effects?
No, it is not the side effects. I mean, I didn't have any.
All right. Anyway.
Yeah, but I mean, sitting next to each other, that's still not a go, and
no. This
will be like somewhere end of this year.
Hopefully, yeah.
So we're still socially distancing.
Socially, but also, you know, consciously keeping our distance.
So today's topic, Peter?
Yeah, today we're going to be talking about FidelityFX Super Resolution. So I think this is one of the most anticipated non-hardware things this year so far, right?
Absolutely.
Pretty much AMD's answer to DLSS, and for pretty much all gamers means free performance for games that
Everybody
support it.
likes free performance. It's like RGB, right?
There's no, I don't know. Yeah,
it gives you extra performance.
Yeah, it's like, kind of like RGB that way, indeed. Everybody knows more RGB means more performance, more FPS.
More FPS.
So yeah, you know, that's what's not to like about that. So let's today we're going to be talking all about that, of course. Also, I've got a bench rig set up right here for you guys, so we're going to be doing some live demonstrations as well, mostly about visual quality. Don't be afraid though, we're also going to be covering performance on different levels and with different settings.
Yeah, we're going to talk Windows 11.
Yeah, we're even going to be talking about a little bit about Windows 11, which is the other, I think, big topic that came up this week.
Yeah, it's a big mess. Anyway, we're trying to make some things clear.
Yeah.
About TPM and that kind of stuff, which motherboard supported.
Exactly, yeah. Anyway.
And yes, Peter and me, I mean, I'm 183, what are you?
What, sorry?
183.
Years old?
Your length. Peter in the chat, Peter is taller in real life too?
Yeah, I am, yeah, but not as much as you'd think that Eric, indeed. He's 183, I'm 185 on a good day, I think, you know, depending on how I wear my hair.
Day. Yeah, okay. Okay, well, I don't have a lot of hair anymore.
Yeah,
so
when I wear my heels, no, just kidding. Anyway, so yeah, that's what we're going to be talking about today. Of course, we also have a giveaway, so it's over my left shoulder, right side for you guys. We're going to be giving away a couple of $20 Steam codes today, so yeah. So especially with the Steam summer sale going on right now, that's always a nice addition to have. You might just be able to pick up some extra things there. So good timing there. Definitely make sure you enter. To enter, you can go to msi.com/2/insiders, and then there should be a big red button that says giveaway or participate in the giveaway. Or you can click on the link that our helpful bot is posting every 5 minutes in especially the YouTube and Twitch chats. I think we're also streaming on Facebook and Twitter. Those tend to be a bit iffy, those platforms, in sharing URLs. So if you want to make sure you don't miss out on the giveaway, you can always find the link in our YouTube chat. We're also streaming there, so look that up, or Twitch. And yeah, you just perform a couple of actions. As always, the more actions you perform, the better your chance of winning. And if you are a regular viewer and you participate regularly in the giveaway, you have some, what are they called again?
Benefits?
Yeah.
What's that? That's a benefit, right?
Like subscribers with benefits, or what?
Yeah.
No. But yeah, some extra points that you can put in there. Loyalty bonus.
Loyalty bonus, yes.
I remember now. It's a loyalty bonus.
It's a benefit that if you have a loyalty bonus.
Definitely, yeah. It sounds a bit wrong when you start calling it benefits, Eric. I don't know, it sounds weird.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, that was that. So I think let's get started. And yeah, I think for today, especially for the main topic, FSR, we've got a special guest from AMD that's joining us today from pretty much halfway around the world. So let's see if he's there. He's called Warren. And I'm just going to grab myself a little earphone so I can actually hear him.
Yeah, indeed. Well, let me lower down the airco because it's making a lot of noise.
Oh yeah, I think the air conditioning indeed is making a lot of noise. Eric was working out before the stream, so he was like, he was feeling a bit.
How did you call it?
Yeah, I don't know
Damping?
the English word for it, but
Yeah.
like he was still steaming a little bit, blowing off steam.
Steamy windows.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's why I indeed.
So this is just to give you guys some idea. This is what it's like to be working with Eric. You constantly get this kind of references throughout the day.
No, it's not my mistake. Anyway, let's talk to Warren.
Warren, welcome to the stream.
Hey, Peter, Eric, thanks for having me here. It's a great pleasure.
Thank
Good
you
morning.
for joining us. Warren, you are a software marketing manager, or the software marketing manager and I'm actually blocking part of your title, so let me duck out of the way here. At AMD Radeon.
I think they already got that.
It's an important detail, but still, yeah. Can you tell the audience just a little bit about yourself and what you do at AMD?
Sure, of course. So I'm the Radeon Software Marketing Manager at AMD. I'm basically responsible for developing out the messaging around some of our gaming features, such as Radeon Boost and Radeon Anti-Lag, AMD Link, and of course today's topic, FidelityFX Super Resolution. Being halfway around the world, I'm actually located out of Toronto, Ontario, and it's my first live stream, so you guys will have to bear with me on this one. But
we'll be gentle, don't worry.
It's easy.
Great to be here.
I think was it a couple of weeks ago, Eric? We also had somebody on our live stream. It was his first live stream. He was here. He was only 12 years old.
Oh yeah, indeed. Yeah, it's rainy.
Yeah. So it's okay. We've got experience in the field of first live streamers.
Yeah.
I'm a bit older than 12, but hopefully I'll do just as well.
So you'll be fine. No pressure. Anyway, great to have you with us. I mean, it's awesome to get some information from the source, let's say. Can I ask how long you've been at AMD?
Oh, sure. I actually started at AMD back in 2006. Ooh. And, I've done a couple of stints at AMD from, competitive analysis to doing product marketing for our workstation graphics cards and HPC cards before switching over to Radeon software. So I've dabbled quite a bit in different areas. And so I guess I'm quote unquote experienced, seasoned AMDer.
Yeah, and all for GPUs, or did you also work for the CPU
branch
business?
Yeah, mostly graphics.
Okay. Yeah.
And I believe it's the old, isn't it the old Radeon office, the ATI Radeon office that used to be or is still in Ontario as well?
Yeah, funny story. I actually joined when it was still ATI.
Oh, there you go.
So I was an employee of ATI for 30 days before switching over to AMD.
Damn. All right.
Cool. So I caught that tail end.
But you're one of the old schoolers then, I guess.
Yeah.
All right.
Well, the new guys don't know he was only there for 30 days. Oh, you used to work in ATI.
Doesn't matter, he can tell the kids that join now. I was there when it all changed. All right, cool, but it's good to know. All right, so I think maybe, if you want, just dive right in. Eric, we can go to the slides.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've got some slides prepared for you guys.
And I'm not sitting on Peter's lap.
No, we're just pretending, with, no, Eric, shoo.
Okay.
Anyway. All right.
Yeah.
So I guess we can dive right in. If you can go to the second slide, I know there's a bit of a delay, so you'll just have to bear with me here. So before we dive into what FSR is and how it works and the benefits around FSR, I want to take you guys, take a step back and look at why we developed FSR in the first place. Graphics workloads have faced some new challenges in recent years. It was just a few short years ago that 1080p was really commonplace amongst gamers and the gaming community. However, we've seen this gradual trend towards the higher resolution, higher refresh rate displays. More people are going out and purchasing 1440p monitors with 144 hertz refresh rates or higher. We're also seeing these increases in 4K display purchases as costs for those products begin to slowly come down. And so the amount of processing power that's needed to move, from 1080p to 4K is fairly substantial. And you really need that enthusiast level graphics card to drive the performance demands that gamers really want on those 4K displays. In addition to that, there's also been great advances in technologies such as ray tracing. And, ray tracing is fantastic at delivering that true to life visual in your game, but it also has a significant impact on performance when you go to enable it. So, achieving these high frame rates is often difficult in these circumstances when rendering at the high resolution. So as a result, you've got these high quality upscaling techniques that have become more popular way to implement as a way for developers to provide that access to their game to as many people as possible. So the more open and accessible the solution, the better it is overall for the gaming community.
Yeah, so a lot of those upscaling techniques were already available in the last few years, but most times the GPU speed or the performance was missing. It was more to make better quality instead of keeping the same quality and having higher FPS.
Mm-hmm. And depending on the type of upscaler that people use or that developers implement, sometimes the quality just isn't there, like bilinear upsampling and all that stuff. You don't really see that quality there that FSR is able to provide.
Yeah, exactly. All right.
If we can go to the next slide.
Yeah, I've already put it there.
Oh,
so you
okay,
can start if you want. Yeah.
I just can't tell from the live stream.
Yeah, it's okay indeed.
So we developed FidelityFX Super Resolution, or FSR, for all gamers in mind. It'll greatly improve performance when demanding effects such as ray tracing are turned on. We're seeing an average of 2.4x on our fastest setting. And because you're getting those faster frames, you're also getting the lower latency and more responsive gameplay experiences. There's been a large uptick in high refresh rate monitor purchases over the past year, and FSR is a great feature to enable to really take advantage of those new displays. FSR is built around a spatial upscaling solution, and it delivers super high quality edges with distinctive pixel details. Gamers will have access to 4 different quality settings that they can choose from, whether their preference is for best performance, ultra quality, or something in between. And so the rapid adoption of FSR will no doubt be fueled by the fact that it will have this broad support, including previous generation AMD GPUs, as well as APUs, which are processors with integrated graphics, as well as other competitive platforms, helping lift the performance on those systems to really new heights. And we already work closely with a lot of developers, and we have many of them committed to supporting this technology, and expect that number to really grow quickly throughout the year.
Yeah, we're going to get into that in later slides as well. And I already see a question which I think goes into this, and I also want to already say, because Hulk versus Spawn, username Hulk versus Spawn, is asking, will I see better results if my monitor has higher resolution? Probably, but we have several results which we can show you. Then you can see exactly, per resolution what that does in at least in our build that we tested it on. So you're going to get that information later on in the stream.
And better results. The question is always, are you looking for better quality or are you looking for more FPS?
No, I mean it also means what is your target FPS? So how many frames per second are you looking for? Because even though percentage-wise at 4K you may have a bigger gain, but it may still be not 144 hertz, for example. That's quite hard in 4K to get with a lot of cards. So yeah, it's just what are you looking for. So percentage-wise, anyway, we'll get to that. But percentage-wise, yes, the gain grows with your resolution, but it really depends on what frame target you're looking for. Let's get into how FSR works exactly, because I think that's what a lot of people are also wondering. What's the magic behind it?
All right. So, we've gone ahead and captured some stills from the Rift Breaker, and we did 1.5x zoom on them so you can really see the details more clearly. So the screen on the left shows 4K native resolution, with performance at around 92 FPS. So once a user decides to turn on FSR and set it to the quality preset, which is the second highest quality setting for FSR, FSR will reduce the input render resolution to 1440p, like what you see in step 1. So that reduction in resolution is what provides that immediate uplift in performance to 179 FPS. But because that resolution is lowered, the image quality is impacted. You can see, details have been softened. Their images are less defined. So this is where step 2 comes in, and kind of where the FSR magic happens. So FSR is comprised of essentially 2 parts. One is the advanced edge reconstruction algorithm that analyzes the source image and recreates these, super high quality edges at a high resolution. In addition to the high quality edges, we also have a secondary sharpening pass that is undertaken to really further improve quality and really bring out those interior object details. Right. So the cost to performance from step 1 is very minimal. While the image is restored to really closely approximate that native 4K render, while at the same time you're getting 83% increase in performance over your native 4K.
Yeah, really impressive.
Yeah, indeed. Yeah. You can, especially, I was also looking at the image. I mean, for you guys, if you're looking, I'm looking this way a lot of the time because on this monitor I've got the slides up close, so I can see the differences indeed. And it's especially in the rocks and the blades of grass, not glass, and the character itself. That indeed, if you're looking at the edges, the image on the right, just it looks so sharp. In some cases, maybe even a little bit sharper than a native one, but yeah.
Yeah, I think for most people, because we're streaming this, so there is a lot of compression going on. I'm sure that if you want to see the original images, they are on the AMD website, right, Warren?
We do have some examples. Yeah. We've also, you can probably check out some of the reviews as well that posted these slides in higher resolution. Yeah. So there are definitely a lot of resources out there that you can, find images and compare.
Yeah.
Yes.
Sorry, I see one question, which I think maybe it's a technical question, but I think I know the answer. But I'm going to ask Warren to see if he can correct me if I'm wrong.
Sure.
Killbot X is asking if the dedicated hardware, so ray tracing cores on the NVIDIA cards, Turing, are, if they help with the FSR as well. I think the answer would be no, because FSR, I think, doesn't use those cores. It uses the normal cores that I think all cards have had, at least for the past few generations. Am I correct in that?
Yeah, that's correct. So it really doesn't use those cores. And we, like if you actually go to that backup slide with the graphics pipeline.
Go quickly forward a little bit. Here we go. Yes.
Yeah, so this is basically a basic representation of your typical graphics pipeline that shows where FSR fits in. As you can see, FSR is integrated after the current anti-aliased frame is tone mapped. So this basically allows developers to really easily integrate FSR into their game, to deliver that extra performance to a wide range of users in a relatively short period of time. So there's really developers don't really need to alter too much of their code to really get FSR implemented into their game title.
Yeah, I heard I think it was Linus or something, that their review said that there was even an anecdote of a developer needing only like, what was it, a couple of hours to implement it, which is just mind-blowingly fast. And of course, I guess mean, there's some stuff you can customize about how FSR works on, which parts it will, treat in a certain way. So you can customize it probably, obviously, depending on your game. But just the base functionality of FSR to get it implemented and working in an existing game, that's just really quick.
Yeah, exactly.
So yeah, that was kind of that stuck with me, because that was just like, how is that possible? But
so is it possible to accelerate this by hardware in the future? I mean, you have some sort of algorithm stuck into this process. Is it possible that in the future this can be done by hardware to accelerate it even more? Or would it be like an idea, because you now do this on your, how you call them?
Cores,
the GPU cores.
Yeah.
To add in more cores to make this faster?
Well, I can't really, like we're definitely looking at various ways to further improve FSR. I can't really, of course, say
no
what
problem.
those features are,
specifics.
but
yeah.
We're definitely not stopping here. This release of FSR is just the beginning, essentially. And
I think it's very interesting, because it's an open standard, so everybody can use it. It gives a lot of performance benefit. A question related to that: are there any advantages of buying a FreeSync or adaptive sync technology monitor to take advantage of FSR? So FSR, I guess.
I mean, they're not exactly related. I mean, I would still recommend getting a FreeSync monitor or adaptive sync monitor to connect to your system, simply because with those adaptive sync displays, you really get that smooth gameplay experiences without the tearing that you see on the screen. But yeah, it's not really necessarily tied to FSR. But I would highly recommend looking into those displays.
Yeah, I mean, if even with FSR, if you don't have any, adaptive sync monitor, or you're not using any of those things, you can still see tearing. So if you want to get rid of the tearing, that's where adaptive sync or FreeSync comes in, and that can really, that really smooths out the whole experience for you.
Yeah, exactly.
And I mean, what FSR will do is it will just grant you a whole lot more performance, as you can see, while still keeping up the visual quality.
So one of the benefits for this, if you're talking about monitor related, if you have a high refresh rate monitor like 144 Hertz, and normally you hit only like 100 Hertz, with FSR you might be able to get a higher FPS and get an even more smooth experience.
Yeah, somebody is Killbot X is saying, like the extreme tearing I've seen in FSR independent tests. Yeah, I mean, those tests, sometimes I don't know, especially also with recording, if they have any kind of sync, adaptive sync method on. So there you can probably still see it. Also, sometimes if you're pushing lower frame rates, it's even harder to compensate for that. But I think, speaking only for my own experience, if you have any kind of adaptive sync or FreeSync, enabled, you won't be seeing tearing like that. It's more something indeed if you're recording a demo or a benchmark or something, then you might see some tearing, because obviously the frame refresh doesn't really sync up that well with the with the recording, usually like 60 FPS. The recording quality. So there you might notice some tearing. It will probably be more noticeable than it will do in real life on your monitor. Anyway, sorry, Warren, we rudely interrupted the
no
story.
No worries.
We can continue. I'll go to the next slide with the quality settings.
All right, so going back to the slides, FSR consists of 4 different quality presets. So we have the ultra quality mode that produces an image that's virtually indistinguishable from native resolution, and it's recommended for users who are looking to increase performance without sacrificing quality. Quality mode delivers more performance and produces an image that's, representative of native rendering. So for a typical gamer who's not, zooming in on the finer details while they're playing their game, the image produced here should also look pretty good compared to native. Balance mode delivers, an image that approximates native rendering with an even more substantial performance gain over the previous two presets, while performance mode obviously delivers the best performance, but it does come with slightly more noticeable impact on image quality. We really suggest that performance mode should be selected when that extra performance is critical.
To be honest, I didn't test FSR. Peter dived into that. But is it possible to have some sort of setting per game that you can save? Like this game, I want to play like a profile or something?
Yeah, because you have to. It's not done in the drivers, so you don't choose this mode or this effect from the Radeon.
Yeah, I was maybe thinking
you select it in the game, so it's basically saved as a game graphics setting, I think.
Yeah, it could be maybe like FPS games you want to always play in performance mode because you want high FPS. And like a strategy game, you want the ultra quality settings. So maybe,
I guess it would be the same as wanting to save a similar setting, as in I always want shadows to be on max quality or the lowest one, or I always want to disable what is it, motion blur, or that's done in the game, I think. So it's
with FSR you do have to control it per game. We do leave it up to the developer to implement FSR, in a way that best suits their particular title. So what I've seen is, out of the launch titles we've come out, Dota 2 actually has a different implementation of FSR, where instead of the 4 quality presets, you get a slider where users can actually adjust the render resolutions themselves. So you basically have a slider, I think it's from 40% up to 100%. And you can choose any setting in between. So it really provides that really fine level of control for gamers.
And it sounds like there's a lot of customization that indeed game developers can use or can utilize to implement it into their game. So it'll be interesting to see in future releases indeed and inclusions how that will look and what they will do with it.
If I start a game, will this be enabled by default, or will it be detected by the game if it runs a small benchmark to detect your performance of your system performance? Or should I always manually enable this?
Yeah, users will have to manually enable FSR in the supported titles.
I've tested it in a couple of titles indeed. For example, Anno 1800 and Godfall. A couple more maybe, but indeed, again, it's just like a graphic setting. And sometimes games will indeed suggest graphic settings, but something like FSR, at the moment at least, not. But hey, maybe at some point that could also be part of the process. I guess that's up to the developer, right? If they want to include something like this or not.
Yeah.
All right. On to the next slide. It's about choosing the optimal mode.
So here on this slide, we're basically doing an image comparison of our FSR Ultra Quality preset, which is the one in the middle of the screen, along with 4K native on the right and 1440p on the 4K is on the left, 1440p is on the right. So with 4K native, you get the best visual experiences, but at the same time you're sacrificing performance in a big way. Getting under 60 FPS is not something gamers want to experience, and so what gamers have historically done is lower their resolution down to say 1440p to bump up that performance to levels that they're good with.
Guilty.
So
or lower the settings, but either one of those.
Yeah, so this is where FSR comes in. Ultra quality delivers much better visuals over 1440p native, and you know, it's almost indistinguishable from 4K. I know you can't really tell from this screen, but you know, if you take a look at some of the examples out there, you'll see. And you know, of course, the best thing to do is to, you know, download a game and try it for yourself.
Yeah, I saw some people already asking, like, is there a way or a demo or something that I can try so I can even see if, you know, if my graphics card, how it handles it, and I can see the differences. I mean, I'm not sure if there's a free demo available anywhere, but I mean, any of the games, we'll get to it later. There's a couple of games already.
Yeah.
I think there's one game that is free. Dota
Yeah,
2,
Dota 2,
is that free now?
Dota 2 is free to play.
Yeah.
You can download that off Steam, I believe.
Yes.
And give it a try.
But I mean, to be fair, Dota 2, the graphics in there, even though they look pretty okay, it's a competitive game. So it's not like the most graphics intensive game ever. So I'm not quite sure if that's a good benchmark. But hey, it's something that you can give it a try, indeed. Yeah.
CJ in the chat is also
Riftbreaker,
saying Riftbreaker demo on Steam is also available for free.
Riftbreaker is a bit more, new, I guess, modern. That was recently released. So you can also try that out.
Yeah, definitely a couple options.
Yeah, so that's something you could try, which is cool.
Yeah. So if we're off to the next slide.
Yep.
Some people prefer, you know, that visual fidelity, while others prefer performance. So here you see that, you know, various image quality and performance that you'll get with FSR enabled in Terminator Resistance. So gamers can expect anywhere from, you know, 44% performance increase between native and ultra quality mode, all the way up to a 2.5x increase when switching to performance mode. So it's an incredible gain in performance, no matter which setting you choose, really, because, you know, even ultra quality with that, you know, that extra bump in performance, you know, it's hard to really see that unless you know, upgrade to another graphics card.
Yeah.
So, you know, FSR really delivers almost like an upgrade to your GPU.
Yeah.
Well, a lot of people will be happy because there is a shortage going on.
Exactly. I think it's great timing. And here we have some more performance numbers based on those 3 games.
Oh yeah, there are also a lot of independent reviews out.
Yeah, we've got
don't
later on we've got
necessarily
some
trust
slides
these
with
results. You know, just check your favorite media website and make your own conclusion.
So these ones I'll just quickly go through. You know, I want to show a wide range of products that you can, you know, see how effective FSR is, no matter what type of graphics card you may have. So, you know, this is a few games that we've tested with FSR performance mode, enabled versus native. You know, as you can see, those who want to, you know, who crave that performance in their games, FSR can deliver, you know, up to 2.6x in some titles on the 6800 XT. You'll also notice gains in the 1% lows, meaning your games will be smoother and more responsive to your inputs. And, you know, if you go to the next slide, this is where I was saying earlier that, you know, you're essentially getting a free upgrade. When we launched the 6700 XT, we promoted that card as, you know, a 1440p powerhouse gaming card. So with FSR, with FSR, now you can, you know, if you just recently upgraded a 1440p display to a 4K display, you can still use the 6700 and really drive those 4K resolutions with FSR. And then going to the next one, we recently introduced the RX 6800M for notebooks. And, you know, it's our most powerful mobile graphics processor to date. And when you enable FSR, you can elevate it even further and achieve you know, enthusiast class desktop-like performance, you know, on a mobile form factor.
Yeah, it's a big bonus. You know, it's just,
what about future game support? Because I see a lot of people, we need more games, etc.
I know there's a slide in there, so I think if we go on, we will get to that eventually.
Okay.
Because I see a lot of questions in the chat. People asking, hey, is this game going to be supported? Is that game going to be supported? So
when is FSR coming? It's already here.
Yes, FSR is already here.
Yeah, and you know, for this slide, we know it's been a tough year for a lot of people, and building a new PC can be a challenge today. So, you know, gamers who have these older cards like the 580, you know, FSR can still breathe new life into them. And, you know, if you go to the next slide, This is just a clear example of how FSR delivers performance for all gamers. You know, everyone wins with FSR, no matter what kind of card you have, whether it's something from AMD or, you know, our competition. You know, getting extra performance at no cost.
Yeah, exactly. That's great. I think a lot of people didn't expect that, especially because, you know, DLSS, which is exclusive, and even within their own product stack from NVIDIA, it's even, you know, not all cards are supported, so it's quite restricted. So FSR really kind of breaks everything open by saying, look, it doesn't even matter. You don't even have to use an AMD card, but you could get this free performance. You can benefit from this.
Not only that, also integrated graphics.
Oh yeah. Oh yes. Exactly. I even forgot about those.
Exactly.
But yeah. I mean.
Yeah, like if you go to the next slide, you know, this basically lists a huge range of products up and down the stack, as well as, you know, previous generations going back to the RX 400 series. Yeah. You know, we also support Ryzen CPUs with integrated Radeon graphics, and, you know, it works on more NVIDIA cards than their own DLSS solution.
That's correct. Yeah.
And I think I saw. Actually,
there's one. Yeah, Hulk for Spawn is also asking: is FSR working on older cards? I'm still using a 390X, which was a beast of a card back then. I still remember that. But it's not officially supported. But neither is the 900 series from NVIDIA, and I've seen some reviewers claiming that it works on a 970, which was around the same time as the 390X, you know, the 300 series of AMD. So
yeah, it's a great question and a great point.
Trying. It may not officially be supported, but that doesn't mean it won't work. So you can definitely try it.
What is the limiting factor in this list? Are you talking about architecture, or does it need to have DirectX 12?
I heard something about.
Hey, we have an expert here, Peter.
Yeah, sorry, but you know, the shaders.
Shader level 5 with DirectX 11. Yes. The only reason why, you know, we have this list here is and not, you know, even older cards is simply boils down to validation. You know, there are a lot of products to test. We certainly recommend that you give it a try. I don't see you know, any reason why the RX or the R9 300 series won't work with FSR either.
And we don't get that much cause to you know, have to dig back into our archives for older cards to see if things work. But with FSR, we also did that, of course. You know, so we also looked at, all right, which cards do we still have? Because usually after some point we don't have that much cause to use them anymore. So we tend to, you know, see if we can do, you know, at least either use them at events or, you know, use them as a giveaway or to make somebody happy. But luckily, we do keep some archive of our cards as well, and that came in quite handy now. All right.
Yeah, if you go to the next slide.
I think this answers a lot of people's questions about which games, indeed. So.
Yeah, so when we launched on the 22nd, which was last Tuesday, I think, we launched with 7 titles, and 2 days later, we got the Dota 2 support. So we're already at 8 games. Adding that one extra game after just a couple of days. You know, we have a number of titles that are coming soon that you see on the right. If you go to the next slide, we've also partnered with, you know, over 40 different studios to date, and, you know, the list will only get bigger as we move into the second half of 2021 and into next year.
Yeah, so and if then something like Unity is supported, then you talk about the game engine.
Yes.
Does it mean that the game developers who use Unity or who base their game on Unity still need to do extra work, or is it more or less enabled by default so that each future Unity game will have FSR support?
Yeah, that's a great question. It's something we would have to ask. I'm not sure if I have the answer for that one.
Okay.
But, you know, FSR is so easy to implement for game developers that, you know, I don't see, you know, much heavy lifting getting it into any title, really.
It's just a question if they want to, you know, enable it, yes or no, and probably, you know, if in the end you have a big game title, obviously they don't want to, you know, just settle for the standard implementation. They want to see, you know, to get the maximum out of it, so they probably want to tweak it and spend a bit of time on it.
About VR headsets. I mean, we know VR. You know, you have two
Oh, yeah.
screens basically, so you need a lot of power.
Yeah.
So, are you talking to Vive, Quest, Index, or I mean, Valve is there, but
yeah.
is it? I mean, are you also targeting VR with this?
VR.
I mean, at the moment, I
that's-
don't see. When I'm looking at the games, I'm not sure.
No, I don't see
know
any
any
VR
of these
titles.
games that,
But
that
could be
support
interesting.
VR indeed. But
That's
for
where
the
you want
future, especially some
performance.
VR games, yeah, basically you have two, whatever resolution, you know, 40Z, 4040p, and a frame rate is very important, because if your frame rate is too low, it's going to cause you a lot of nausea.
Yeah, that's true.
We've had that.
You definitely
in the
don't
past,
want
indeed.
to.
So that's really
You definitely
interesting.
don't
indeed.
want to get that. Yeah.
Yeah. I think also for VR, this could really help a lot of people to achieve a much smoother experience while still having, you know, really nice visual experience as well.
Yep, for sure.
So Gigaram is saying Ubisoft should add it to the Snowdrop engine. I think Far Cry is that using Snowdrop? No.
Not sure.
No.
Don't know that level, but indeed. So you know, just looking at the names here and then the titles for some of the engines as well, I think this includes pretty much all of the major studios, almost all the major studios. So yeah, I think going forwards we can really expect to see a lot of games implementing this, and I don't see why not as well, because again, it's easy to implement. It's open. So there's not many limitations there.
Yeah, and these are, you know, the studios that we're currently working with. I mean, FSR is going to be made available on GPUopen.com, and it'll be, you know, freely available for any developer out there, big or small, to access and, you know, implement into their game titles. So, you know, we're making this as easy and as open as possible. For people to really get it into their game.
Yeah, I think that's really great, and I think, you know, that's one of the things that also I think caused a lot of hype for people, not just the feature itself and how well it works already just for the first revision for now, because obviously this is going to be, you're going to keep developing it, but now it's already pretty damn good, and obviously the big question, I see this question in the chat also a lot of times, is just people saying, we need more games to support it, which I think is a testament to how good people already, you know, how good it's being received. So yeah,
that's always with a new technology. In the beginning, yeah, that's always.
You have to start with a few cases, obviously, and then basically, you know, make it visible and as a proof of concept as well. And then if it's good enough, adaptation is going to go quite rapidly.
Gigaram is saying we should spam the devs, but if the devs are answering your questions, they don't have time to develop the games.
Exactly. I think, you know, what they did, what AMD did very well here is to make sure that it's easy to implement. It doesn't take much time, so you lower the bar for them. Because I think that the last thing that devs want is to, you know, spend about, you know, another amount of time, like almost the same amount of time as they would developing the game itself to implement some kind of technology in there. That's the last thing they're waiting for. So
yeah. And, you know, if you guys have a game that you'd like to see FSR get, you know, enabled on.
Yeah. you guys badger the developers.
You know, you can actually let us know too. If you visit our webpage, amd.com/FSR, there's actually a form that you can fill out that you can, you know, let us know what game you want you want to see FSR on. And, you know, we'll definitely take a look at that list and, you know, prioritize our approach to developers.
And not just upcoming games, right? Also existing games.
Yep.
As long as they use DX11, DX12.
Yep, DX11, DX12, and Vulkan.
There you go.
Yeah. So basically, this is the last slide, and there's basically three main points that I'd like for you guys to kind of walk away with today, and that's FSR delivers performance for all gamers. So whether you have, you know, an old or new graphics card, enthusiast class, or integrated graphics, you know, AMD or competitive, FSR has gamers covered. The second point is FSR is designed for, you know, rapid adoption. So, you know, with that open approach, developers, big or small, can begin to implement FSR and have it up and running in a very short period of time. As noted before, in some cases, it'll take a couple of hours to a day or two to get it up and running in a game, plus some extra time to really tweak all the knobs and switches that FSR has, so it really looks great in whatever game it's being implemented in. And finally, FSR is just the beginning of things to come. We're definitely not stopping here. There are teams that are already working on bringing improvements to the feature, and we're definitely looking forward to the day where we can share that information with you guys.
Yeah, so are we. I mean, I see a lot of questions in the chat indeed about, or maybe in this case more a statement. Dax Brown also saying pretty much what you're saying. FSR still is in its infancy. It looks very promising, but it still has a lot of ground to catch up in regards to DLSS, for example. I'm not sure if I 100% agree with that. But yeah, I mean, there's always room to improve. And I think that's what makes it so really nice. The start now is already pretty impressive. And it's pretty much only going to get better from here on out.
A lot of game titles.
Yeah,
Battlefield, Warzone.
Yeah,
Black
and
Desert
people are
Online.
also, I thought I see. Yeah, there's one suggestion which I thought was really interesting as well. Ferdinand Joseph Fernandez was asking, can FSR be dynamic? For example, when your FPS is pretty high anyway, so you're basically working with an FPS target, and then the FSR mode can change based on if you're hitting that target or not. So if your FPS is high, it will be in ultra quality because it can handle it. But if it notices that it's dipping below a certain value, if you're aiming for 144 Hertz, for example, or 144 FPS, and it notices that it's dipping too far below that it could dynamically switch to quality mode just to make sure you keep that frame consistency. I think that's quite an interesting thing. But again, I'm not sure if that's possible because that would mean
it is possible. Consoles are also using a technology
settings
like this.
Yeah,
they are using dynamic resolution.
Yeah,
so
but it's different. I think dynamic resolution is different from.
But it maintains the FPS, but it just lowers down the resolution.
Yeah.
The render resolution.
But I think they are different. I'll let Warren.
Yeah,
I don't know if you have an answer for
those
that,
are definitely. I don't have an answer for that, but those are definitely interesting ideas.
Yeah.
We actually have a feature that's kind of similar but different. I don't know if you guys have heard of Radeon Boost, but Boost actually dynamically adjusts resolution or variable rate shading based on your inputs. So say, for example, you're in a first-person shooter and you're moving your mouse around. Because you're moving that mouse around really fast, you're not really paying attention to the fine details. So what we do is we actually lower the shading rates or the resolution to give you that added boost in performance.
Right.
So that's how we've kind of implemented those types of technologies to give you that extra increase.
And if I remember correctly, because somebody in the chat is already saying indeed DSR is different from FSR, which is correct, I think. But are those two mutually exclusive, or can they operate at the same time?
At
Dynamic
this
shade.
point, at this point, no, they're exclusive.
Yeah. But you're saying at this point, so that implies that
I already hear some rumors about version 2.0.
At some point, maybe it's possible. But I guess that's you're looking into a lot of things at the moment, which this could be one of them, to see if these things can work together. Indeed,
hey, all you have to do is stay tuned. When we're ready to reveal,
we will definitely hear about it.
Great.
Yeah.
All right, let's see if there's any other questions. Otherwise, because you told us, right, I think you had like half an hour. We're already taking up 50 minutes of your time. So
I told you.
Yeah,
Peter keeps
we
talking.
We warned you. I think there's a lot of questions, but I think we can handle that. Thank you for joining our stream,
reading a
Warren.
different chat.
Thank you for the detailed explanation and answers as well. And I think I speak for the whole audience as well when I say we're looking forward to see any kind of news and further development of FSR. But it's already pretty awesome and promising so far.
Yeah, I mean, it's been a great pleasure with you guys today, and keep checking back on AMD.com/FSR. We're continuously updating that page as new game titles come out. So if you're interested to see what the latest titles are, just visit that site. We'll keep you guys posted through social as well, so you can really get a chance to experience FSR firsthand.
All right, cool. Well, who knows when there's any new developments or a new version or anything like that. Maybe we'll see you in the stream again.
Sounds good.
Looking forward to it.
Thanks for your time.
Thank you for now, Warren, and we'll hope to see you soon then.
Stay safe. Take care. Bye-bye.
Take care, guys. Bye.
All right, cool. So yeah, I hope you guys liked
first-hand information about version 2.0.
Yeah,
I don't want
you
to
heard it here
rumors.
first. Yeah.
No. Peter, let's do a giveaway.
I think it's time for a giveaway indeed. So again, we are giving away $20 Steam voucher wallet codes today. You can participate by going to www.msi.com/2/insiders, and there you can participate, or you can click on the Gleam link being shared in the YouTube and Twitch chats every 5 minutes. And the more actions you perform, the better your chance of winning. And if you're a regular viewer, again, you'll have loyalty bonus points to throw into the mix as well. You can do this every stream. It's not like if you spend them once, then that's it. No, you can spend them every stream again. So I would say don't skip it. If you have them, spend them. And I think it's time to announce our first two winners. First one, it's a nice nickname, the Chad.
The Chad.
Congratulations, the Chad. You're gonna get some $20 coming your way. And again, with the Steam sale going on right now,
it's a Steam voucher, not $20, Peter.
Sorry?
It's a Steam voucher, not $20.
Well, it's $20 Steam wallet.
Yeah, but you didn't say that. It's like, yeah,
$20 worth of Steam
He's checking
credits.
his wallet.
Yeah, just to be clear indeed. And the second one is called Anthony15. Congratulations, Anthony and the Chad. The codes will be coming to you ASAP. And because again, I'll make sure we mail them out as soon as possible, so you still have plenty of time to spend them during the Steam summer sale. All right. I think that we can continue with the rest of the stream, because I still have a couple of slides, because I also saw a lot of people asking about performance numbers of specific cards and specific resolutions. So there. I can go into right now with. Can you put the chat back up?
Yeah.
Because I can't see it.
Chat. The chat. That's one of the wins.
Yeah, no, the chat.
Okay.
With a T, not a D. All right. Because indeed, so first I just want to highlight again just how far back the support goes. I still see a lot of questions from people. Yeah, I've got an HD 7000 series, also a great card. I also used to have one of those. ATI was still back then, and I think from the answer right now, maybe not officially supported, but as long as it's using the shader version 5 or DirectX 11, 12 or Vulkan, I mean it's always worth a try. So but these are the series that are officially supported with the corresponding MSI cards as well, and I've just put the years as well there from which they launched. So the official support goes back to products that launched back in 2016, so that's pretty damn long time ago. So I think also for this, indeed, within this bad news, not really supply, there's not enough supply and way too much demand for every card. If you are a person that has been unfortunate and is stuck with your older card for longer than you would have wanted, this is something that can give you at least a lot more performance in the games that are supported. And looking forwards, it could actually just give your card a second life as well, because you could keep it for a longer. So that's really nice. I've actually done some testing earlier today, this morning, on the test rig I have in front of me.
Let me show it to everybody.
Yes. So it's this test rig. It's running an X570 model. I can't actually see which motherboard this is. Let me see if I can check it. Looks like Tomahawk. Yeah. So this is X570. Yeah, we do have Tomahawk of that, don't we?
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's a Tomahawk. As
And
I see,
if it's on there, it
there's
should
a
be correct.
fan. There's a fan on the chipset. That's how I know it's an
Oh,
X570. So I'm pretty sure about that one.
It's a first generation X570.
Exactly. Yeah. And this is just a benchmark rig we borrowed from Ruud from FAE.
He knows about it?
He knows now. Yeah.
Then it's borrowing.
He helped me to prepare this as well. It's running a. I want to say Radeon, but it's a Ryzen.
Yeah, it's
Ryzen 9 5950X processor. So we just wanted to make sure that in these benchmarks we weren't bottlenecked by the CPU whatsoever, which I'm pretty sure with this beast is not going to be the case. It's cooled by the K series cooler. I think this is the K360, right?
Put your finger in it.
But no, I prefer not to. But it's a 360 millimeter rad with 3 fans on there, and of course the nice OLED screen on the top, showing all the temperatures and stuff like that. And other than that, I think it's just 16 gigs of RAM. Nothing special there, because not really limited in that way. And then what I did is I benchmarked 2 cards. One is the one that's sitting right here in the benchmark rig right now, which is the RX 6700 XT Gaming X. So it's our gaming card of that GPU. But I also benched it with one of the cards I dug up in our archive, which is
Dug up, that's the right word.
Yes, I really had to dig, like literally. And this is a RX 580 Mac 2 8 gig variant. So it does have the 8 gigs of memory, which did come in handy.
It looks like a collector's item.
Yeah, it is. But the 8 gigs is kind of recommended, especially if you want to test or play at 4K, because then you need a bit more memory for the textures and stuff like that. 4 gigs variant could also do it, of course, but then probably your frame rate would be more limited by the fact that you've got less memory, VRAM, than the GPU power itself. So but it was pretty surprising and pretty nice. The results that I got. So let me.
Yeah, we're using RGB screen. So indeed, when the LED goes green.
Oh yeah, chroma key. Yeah, exactly. So then you can. It becomes see-through.
It's all fake here.
Just seeing if there's any interesting questions.
Yeah, a lot of people talk about game support, but this will come. I mean, I think AMD already did a pretty good job for the first generation.
Yeah.
Much better than what DLSS was in the beginning.
Yeah, I mean, if you compare it to DLSS 1.0, I mean, granted, DLSS 1.0 was launched 3 years ago, 2019, I think. So yeah, there's 3 years have passed. We now have DLSS 2.0, but there's many ways to look at it. But just looking at the potential that it has,
I think that's what we need to look at. The potential.
Yeah.
It's free, and it's open.
I mean, it's not restricted to any brand of GPUs.
And especially PlayStation 5, Xbox Series, they all use AMD platforms. So a lot of devs are.
But that shouldn't even matter. I mean, it does, because you automatically make that link. But even because it's not limited to AMD, it really doesn't matter.
No,
but then
true,
again,
but what I'm saying, I mean, they will already adapt it automatically when developing their game for those consoles. They will already enable this, and when a lot of those games now also come to PC, it seems to be a trend.
Yeah.
First exclusive for 1 or 2 years on the consoles, and then to PC.
Wow.
Then it will probably has the same FSR. I was like, what are we talking about? Okay, FSR.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, all the short terms of the FSR, DLSS,
yeah, indeed,
RTX, or RX. Sometimes you get mixed up in all of them. But yeah, I mean, it's pretty. I don't know about you guys, but I got pretty excited, because also I was kind of tempering my expectations when I knew this was coming out, because I didn't want to get disappointed. But they definitely didn't disappoint. And yeah, I mean, true, Noxlar DLSS is also, 18 months old. I think it got, 1.0 at least got introduced in 2019. I think we did a live stream on it back then as well to showcase it, and also its shortcomings. So the fuzziness, and we even, I believe, had NVIDIA Lars on the stream then. And the funny thing is, he also back then already said, look, this is the first version. it's going to improve, and it
Yeah.
did. And I think the same thing really is true for FSR. You know, it's
Warren
again,
just told us.
Yeah.
He was talking about 2.0, if I'm
well,
correct.
not 2.0, but
Okay.
yeah, I mean, you know, there's plenty of room to gain still, and I think that's really nice as well.
So,
Yeah, a lot of discussion in the chat. All right,
let's benchmark.
Let's get back to the numbers, and then later on I'll also show you guys, because I first want to go through the performance numbers in a graph here, and then later on, what I'm going to do is in the game, I'm going to show you the visual differences between the modes and stuff like that. For now, these are the numbers that I got this morning with this rig here in Godfall.
So actually, Peter said this morning, so actually he had some work to do. He said, Erik, can you do this? And then he went to here just
I have some games
playing
to play.
some games.
Priorities, I know my priorities. Games over work,
Yeah.
games before work. Anyway, so yeah, I tested this one. This is with the RX 6700 XT Gaming X that I have right here. And with ray tracing off. I just want to make that clear as well. So the dark red bar was the native result, so on the native resolution, no FSR enabled. And then the light red is, or the bright red, I guess I should say, is with the ultra quality mode. So that's the first mode you encounter, which is the closest one to native. And it actually, you will see later on as well, it is quite hard to distinguish. If you know where to look, you might be able to tell. But ultra quality setting is quite close to native. And even with that one, that's why I tested this. I wanted to just show you guys, even with just switching to ultra quality, which is very hard to distinguish, you already get a pretty big boost. So depending on your resolution, this was a question that somebody was asking earlier as well. You know, if you move up in resolutions, the higher the resolution, you can see here percentage-wise as well. Yes, the bigger the gain. The question is, what FPS target are you shooting for? So at 1080p, I mean, to be honest, a lot of media have already said this as well while testing. You'll see it later on. In 1080p, it's not the most recommended to use, even in ultra quality, because then it's going to render things at an even lower resolution, like 720p, I think.
Yeah.
Which means that some edges and some details are lost. And as Warren also explained, it's more like a reconstructive technology, which means that it does need to have that data and some of that pixel information to start with. Otherwise, it cannot reconstruct it. So when going from 1080p to 720p native render resolution, it will miss out on some detail, and that will become obvious. But again,
So
we'll
this
show
also
that.
belongs for the future if you talk about 8K, if I'm correct.
Yeah, because at 8K it should even be better, right?
Yeah.
But this is the things that I could test here. But I mean, just looking at the performance, so at 1080p, I got a 17% performance boost, which is pretty nice already. At 1440p, we went from 85 frames per second to, and this is the average, this is just the benchmark in Godfall itself, 85 frames per second to almost 110. 26% boost, which is also pretty impressive. And then at 4K, I went from 45, pretty much 46 FPS average to 66, to over 66, which is, you know, it goes from falling well short of the 60 FPS mark to well over 60 FPS at 4K. So, yeah, I mean, this is exactly, I think, what Warren mentioned when he said, look, when we launched this card, the 6700 XT, we said, you know, and we positioned it as a 1440p powerhouse. For 1440p, it's in most cases maybe a bit overkill, but it will manage just fine. But for 4K, it kind of, you know, it was just short of the mark of being able to provide 60 FPS on most games. And in this case, you can see with FSR enabled then, on its highest quality setting, it will be able to do 4K at over 60 FPS average. So that's pretty nice.
And it's the same for 1080p. I mean, if you have 144 high resolution, high refresh monitor, 138 is also pushing this.
Yeah. All right.
You're reading the chat, yeah.
How
this
I wish
ray tracing on.
wait. Mustafa Hayford is asking how I wish my 1080 Ti could support the. Oh, sorry. I thought he was saying supports FSR, because it does. 1080 Ti can do FSR. Indeed, it doesn't support DLSS. That's the limitation, unfortunately. But I did the same tests with. Sorry, I'll go back one time. This was with ray tracing off. After that, what I did is I did the exact same test at the same resolutions with the same settings. The only thing I changed was enable ray tracing, because I wanted to see what impact that would have.
So now we're talking about 117 FPS, and then with ray tracing, it's 102. So
102,
about
and that was
15% impact.
1080p indeed. But also there, enabling FSR gave me at 1080p an 18% boost in FPS, in performance. At 4040p, it gave me a 29% boost. So it's also we went from 72 FPS to 96. So again, pretty nice. And at 4K, we went from 38 to about to 55 FPS on average. So, and again, this is with all settings on Epic, so all the highest game settings, graphic settings in the game. So if you, for example, at 4K, I didn't even check, but I think, for example, things like anti-aliasing are still on, on their highest setting, and at 4K you really don't need to do that because the resolution is already so high. So you probably still could, by tweaking some of those things that you probably won't notice that much, you could probably boost that number up even higher. So again, it's just to give you guys some idea of what the performance gain looks like.
Hulk versus Spam is saying, I wonder if there's any difference in latency with this feature on and off. I don't think it should be.
Good question.
Yeah.
But I mean, I guess you're talking about frame time latency.
Yeah, responsiveness.
I mean, in general, the higher, if you have higher FPS, your frame time latency will probably become lower, but that's in a general sense. So you never know about specific spikes or things like that happening, but in general, yeah, the latency should be lower. But if it's really noticeable, well, that we would have to see. I didn't test that, so good question, but maybe we can look into that at a later stage. Then I did the same tests with the same game with the old 580 that I've got in front of the rig here. So the card I had to dig up that was launched in 2000. I think this one launched actually 2017, the 500 series. Anyway, quite old card, and these are the results I got. So at 1080p, I went from, this is with all the settings at Epic. So this is the highest possible graphic settings you have. And ray tracing off, because the 580 I couldn't enable ray tracing. I did not get the option, so that's not a possibility. But I went from 45 FPS to 55. So again, 19%. So this seems to be pretty much on par with all the cards and all the resolutions that you saw before as well. That at 1080p, it's around the 19-20% performance gain that you can get. At 4040p, it's around the 25% mark, 25 to 26, 27. And at 4K, I mean, this card could handle 4K. I mean, native resolution was 18 FPS, so it was really a slideshow. And then it went to a, semi-fluid 25, 26 FPS. So again, I wouldn't really say that's playable at 4K, but still, you see that the gain in performance is kind of the same, scales pretty much linearly in that regard.
And this of course differs per game.
Yeah, there's difference per game indeed, but that's why I chose the same game. I just wanted to keep a lot of the most parameters the same. The only thing I changed was the card, and then to see what results I would get. So yeah, it's pretty impressive what it can do on these cards and on these older cards. Then I also took some more information. You can check the media reviews like this one for TechSpot. They also did a lot of extensive testing. And here also in Godfall, I mean, they did the 6800 XT, so even one card higher than one GPU higher than this one. There you can also see a lot of different settings. They also tested all the different settings. I only tested ultra quality, but you can see that with your resolution at 1080p at the bottom, you can see at some point you get CPU limited. So you don't get any more performance gains over the quality setting. So when going to balanced or performance, you can see that the performance stays the same. But at 4040p and 4K, you can still see it scales a lot. And the biggest jump you will see, at least in this game, is by simply turning it on. So going from off to ultra quality. That's already, I think, the biggest jump. Then they also did the test on 5700 XT, so the generation before this one. Yeah, also we see similar results, very impressive.
Do you have any Dota 2 benchmarks, Peter?
No, not in here. I did see some Dota 2 benchmarks. I mean, to be fair, there were some. I think also that this was TechSpot that did that review. There were some. I mean, it was surprising that even if you select the lowest graphical preset in Dota and the highest graphical preset, there are some things are different. But I mean, for most users that don't play Dota that much, they won't see or notice that much difference. So you also wouldn't expect there to be that much difference in terms of graphics usage, or the load on the graphics card.
Yeah.
But surprisingly, they did find that because, for example, shadows and stuff like that does add a little bit of load on there. So even for that, FSR does make a difference. However, considering Dota 2 is a competitive game, most people won't be playing it at a very high resolution, probably something like 1080p. And they, when doing that test and applying FSR to get, like, for example, the max FPS, so you take performance mode in FSR, I mean, then it becomes so blurry because the native render resolution becomes so low, it's missing so many details that it cannot reconstruct. So then the image just becomes so blurry, it becomes almost unusable. So that's not really recommended in that scenario. But you can play around with it and find that out yourself.
I think no matter what, I mean, the consumer wins.
Yeah.
Free performance, first version can only get better.
Exactly, yeah. Oh, this one we'll save for later.
Well, I can talk about it now. I mean, so you can prepare your benchmarks, right?
No, because it's on the same PC.
Oh, okay.
But hey, if you want to do this now.
Yeah, maybe let's talk about Windows 10.
11.
Let's get it over with. Because, yeah, I think you all noticed Microsoft announced Windows 10. Oh, sorry, Windows 10. Windows 11 plus 1. Yeah. So we got a lot of questions. We saw a lot of discussions going on. So the system has a new interface, Peter. Yeah, Peter is doing the slide. So new interface, etc. I mean, also a lot of
visual
new
update.
Gaming features. It's doing adaptive frequency for your display on notebooks to save battery life. Direct storage is supported. So in the future, when there are games with direct storage support, of course, we're going to benchmark it and show it to you.
Yeah.
Dynamic HDR support basically means if you have a game which does not
Wasn't
support...
it called auto HDR, automatic? So it will automatically
Indeed.
HDRify
Yeah.
your game?
Yeah, indeed. If your game doesn't have native HDR support, it will make up HDR, tone mapping, etc. in the game. So I already saw a demo of this. I don't remember where.
Yeah,
some time
me
ago.
as well. I think the demo was included. It was Skyrim, like the beginning scene of Skyrim when you were in that cart. Yeah.
So some new gaming features, and now everybody of course wants to know, is their system compatible? But yeah, this is where the problems start, because it was quite messy what Microsoft did. They first announced some like soft
requirements.
Sorry?
Some soft requirements.
Yeah, soft and hard requirements. They changed this. They had a check. Actually, they called it PC Health Check app, but it's quite a confusing name. But basically, on like during the weekend or something, they said, "Hey, sorry, we pull this. We take this app offline, so you cannot check anymore, and we are thinking about changing the requirements." Then they released like a test beta version, which you can download and test, and they also removed most of the restrictions on CPUs. So quite confusing. We are also not 100% sure what the situation is. So
I mean, to be fair, of course it caught a lot of attention, but I think they maybe they jumped the gun a little bit, because I think now at Microsoft they're also thinking like a lot of the questions are being asked that they're still kind of trying to figure out what the answer is, because I mean they haven't on some of these issues they haven't been able to provide either that, or they chose not to provide specific answers. So some of the things are still kind of up in the air, and
if you go to the next slide, it doesn't. The problem is not that big, because if you look at this, you see all chipsets. This is based on MSI, motherboards,
Yes.
Intel based. So it could be for other vendors that it is
It could
different.
be different.
But then you
We
see
just
the-
checked with our HQ, with our technical department, indeed, to see, hey guys, what do you know already? This
So
is-
if you in the first column you see the year the platform launched, and of course, I mean there are different chipsets in that row. So some are launched maybe in 2013 for Z87, and some entry levels are maybe launched in 2014. All small details. But basically, it says TPM 1.2, and this is a firmware TPM. And basically, if you think about TPM, you all think about the small chip you need to add on the board.
Yeah, I see some people indeed saying, hey, neither my CPU or my mainboard have a TPM module, I'm screwed.
No,
Not
no,
necessarily.
no. Based on this, it's integrated in the CPU, and it's a small ARM chip which generates a random number for security purposes. And we call this firmware TPM. TPM 1.2 is on let's say the 8 series, the 9 series, and the X99. And then from the 100 series on, it's all on Intel TPM 2.0 in the BIOS. So in the BIOS, not BIOS is the wrong word, in the firmware and in the CPU. So
exactly, because
you
I
don't
see
need
9
an
saying
extra
indeed
module.
very specifically Z87 GD65 has no TPM.
It has TPM 1.2.
There you go.
And there is, on all those boards, there is also a TPM pin header. So you might be confused, like, oh, there's a pin header and I don't have a module. No, it's already included, but the pin header is for some platforms to upgrade it to, for example, TPM 2.0, or maybe in the future 3.0 or whatever.
Whatever they will have.
Yeah. Now, if we're going to look at what is currently Microsoft supporting, the chipsets are listed in green. So the 300 series, the X299 platform, the 400 series and the 500 series. This is based on TPM 2.0 and on the generation of the Intel CPU, so the 8th gen and up. So
actually 7th gen I see with X299. It says Intel 7th gen.
Yeah,
In some cases.
I mean, X299 is a quite confusing platform. They had so many different.
Did we already say it's quite confusing and
it is
complex
confusing.
at the
It is
moment?
confusing. Yeah. Anyway, so with this table you can already see for your Amazon motherboard if it has which TPM it has, and then what Intel is also, Microsoft is also saying. We are currently not supporting the 6th and the 7th gen. So then on if you go one slide back, they said. So we're still checking, we're updating the memory requirements. So Peter? Yeah, so now they're considering the 7th gen. And the 7th gen can run on both the 200 series and the 100 series.
Yeah.
So, and from that point I'm like, okay, probably they also support the 6th gen. And it's even more confusing because they are talking about the free upgrade process. This means if you're currently running Windows 10, you get a free upgrade based on these requirements. And again, I mean, Microsoft will make the final requirements. I'm just telling you what kind of TPM and what kind of hardware you have.
Because we don't know what why certain motherboards are limited. It seems to be part of the TPM thing, but there may be other factors at play here as well.
Because a lot of other factors. It's talking about secure boot.
Yeah, and if they offer it as a free upgrade of Windows 10, then it kind of, it would be logical to think, well, if the PC is capable of running Windows 10, then it should also be capable of running 11.
That's the tricky part, Peter, because
but
they are saying this is for the free update.
Yeah.
But that doesn't mean you cannot install it on those with the how do you call it, the program? With like the ISO or something, and they have also a media creation tool, I think it's called.
Okay.
So they're not clear on that, like, okay, so you don't get the free update, but you can still buy it and install the ISO or a USB or whatever. So quite confusing.
Well, obviously, because you in some cases, if you don't have it and you're building a new PC and you still, you need Windows on there.
If you build a new PC based on this hardware, you're good to go.
Exactly. Then this should not be an issue anyway.
So then, next slide, AMD.
Yes.
So AMD is
I see a lot of green.
Currently, pretty much the AM4 socket and up are supported. X399 and TRX40 are supported. So everything's supported. The difference there is in the Zen 1. And this is quite difficult because they currently say Zen 1 is not supported and they're considering it. So actually it should be orange.
Yeah.
they're considering it. However, Zen 1 is not only the Ryzen 1000 series, but you also have APUs. And you also have older, what is it called? Raven Ridge, I think.
Oh, could be.
So yeah, but basically if you have this, everything has firmware TPM 2.0. And yes, you can update it. So let me check the chat. Any Ryzen table? Yeah, so here you have it.
Yeah, exactly. That was very well timed, Marodier. You asked and we switched. But indeed, but like I said, this is just the status right now. So it's not set in stone. This could change. It probably will change because we already see Microsoft making statements about, well, we're considering and we're looking into to see if we can broaden the support, which makes sense because obviously they also want to make sure that as many possible combinations are, as many combinations as possible are supported, because that would just greatly increase the adoption rate of Windows 11 as a platform. So I guess you can kind of assume that they are looking into any possible way to allow all the platforms that they can. Well, within certain parameters.
TPM 2.0 is a requirement.
Yeah, but that's, again, within certain parameters. But still, obviously they also want to make sure that as many systems as possible can switch to Windows 11 as a new platform.
So basically the problem is not there, because if you go back, if you check the Intel slide, Peter, if you see TPM 2.0, only 2 CPUs are not supported.
Yep.
And yeah, the others don't support it natively. So then you see there in the third column, you see TPM pin. So we have a 14 pin and we have a 12 pins. So if you can go forward 2 slides, Peter, please.
There we go.
So these are the different TPM modules. And again,
these are separate. These are the separate modules.
The add-on modules. If you want to upgrade a motherboard from TPM 1.2 to 2.0 and maybe later, it's not announced yet, or let's say it's not defined yet, 3.0. These TPM modules are only for MSI, because it seems that each vendor has a different pin layout. So if you have an MSI motherboard with TPM 1.2 and in the future Microsoft decides that they support your CPU, but your motherboard doesn't have TPM 2.0, so you need to get this kind of module. And you need to have, for MSI motherboards, an MSI module, or find the one with the right pin layout. I'm not saying they're not there, I don't know, but might be difficult.
Yeah. But I also noticed a lot of people already online, panicking or saying, oh, I need to buy a TPM module, but now I can't buy it. Give it some time. I mean, it's not here yet. Of course, you can, if your PC is capable of running it at the moment, you can. If you're, I think it's the Windows Insider program, right? You can already try the current build that they have. But I think, was the launch date already announced?
No.
Specifically? No, but it will be later this year. So give it some months, and I'm pretty sure, in the coming months, there will be more specific information. And, then there's still plenty of time to panic.
Yes, so I have a question. Do these TPM modules work on all the boards mentioned, like Z87 with the 14 pin? Yes. The green PCB one is the 14 pin. It's quite small, but you can go to this. If you search for MSI TPM module, probably you will find the product page. Yeah. But the top one, the green PCB, is 14 pins, and the bottom one, it's the 12 pins version. Yeah. And both are TPM 2.0 modules.
Yeah. But I mean, I don't really want to assume anything, but if you're still running and using a Z87 board, that's pretty old. So unless you have very sentimental value or you're using it as a legacy solution, I mean, that's fine. It's really up to you. But at some point, most people will probably be upgrading or updating to a new system, a new platform. And
what Ruud was joking, he said, it is only temporary. When they try Windows 11, most will go back to Windows 10.
Well, that's also a fair point. When a new system is announced, usually or launched, they usually will still have to do some fine tuning. And let's hope that Windows has indeed broken their their good bad streak. Yeah. Right, because otherwise, we're in for another Windows 8. Yeah. Let's hope not.
No, indeed. I see your question. Is this connected to the USB header? No, this is a special TPM pin header. You can find it if you go to the spec page from your motherboard or your manual. You will see where it's located. All right. And this can be on different locations. Yeah. Okay, Peter, let's continue because you still want to benchmark. So if you don't enable TPM, and this, like what I'm saying, TPM 2.0, because Microsoft, with Windows 11, they want to battle all the malware and the viruses, and TPM can really, they claim something like 50 or 60% of the cases can stop. Not sure if that's true and what the exact statement is. Anyway,
but every little bit helps, I guess.
Yeah, it helps. If you don't enable TPM, you get this error message.
Oh,
so, like I just showed you, it's already on most of the recent motherboards from the last 5 to 7 years, but you need to make sure it's enabled. So if you go to your BIOS, to your MSI settings, security, trusted computing, you need to enable the top function, and if you then reboot,
device support.
Yeah, if you then reboot, in the next slide, Peter, you can see what TPM version you have. This you can also find out in Windows. So next slide, if you type in Windows
TPM.msc.
Yeah, indeed, the Microsoft console, I believe it is. Anyway, then you will get this the window on the right, and it says that TPM is enabled and working correctly.
So Hulk versus Spawn is asking, where does the TPM module plug into the motherboard? Again, this is one of the confusing parts. Some motherboards already have it because it's part of the CPU, for example.
Most recent.
Most recent ones. Yeah. And if you have an older one, I mean, you can go back to watch the stream later on. We showed you a couple of these screenshots or photos where there's a little connector located on the motherboard. I guess if you look into your motherboard manual or just download it online, if you threw it away, you can probably find the location exactly. It differs per motherboard. And so, you can just slot it on there. Yeah. Rhino Blaster was also saying, is there any motherboard that will come with it? What do you mean exactly? With the TPM module? With
the separate
Windows
module,
11?
no. You need to buy separately. Most, like for all platforms, can you maybe go back, Peter, to the Intel slide?
Yes.
Yeah, just to get this clear.
Yeah, because it's we also understand. That's why we wanted to address this, because we noticed that there's so much confusion at the moment, also for us. So we're just trying to make sense of this and seeing if we can, give you an overview to kind of put you at ease.
If you have Skylake and up, you already have TPM. You don't need an additional module. If you have socket AM4, X399 or TRX40, you already have TPM. 2.0.
And that's part of, is that part of the chipset of the motherboard or part of the CPU?
CPU.
Oh, sorry. So it's always part of the CPU.
Yes, it's a special ARM chip in the CPU. I'm not sure if it's always ARM, but and it generates. I think AMD has. They also have a different name for it.
It's like a security handshake, I guess.
Yeah, indeed. Yeah. Okay. So maybe continue, Peter.
Yeah, so we covered pretty much.
So most of you already have TPM 2.0, just to make sure you enabled in the BIOS. Yeah. We did some internal testing when the how do you call that? The AMD PC health check, like am I ready for Windows 11, was still online, and these were the results. So basically, everything what Microsoft claimed worked indeed. Yeah. However,
so
at that moment,
it seems dependable, the tool.
Yeah. However, when we tested it with 1700, the Zen 1 CPU in the next slide, Peter.
Oh, yeah.
Those didn't work. And I say currently because now Microsoft is considering them to work. Yeah. The first generation Zen.
So at the moment it still says it's not compatible. Yeah. But that could change depending on.
Could change. Indeed. So and Microsoft they have a product page online on their website, Microsoft.com, with all the CPUs listed which currently work. But for sure this is going to change in the coming weeks, months. Yeah. And don't be confused, because the beta they now released, they removed all the checks. I think they require only TPM 1.2 and no CPU requirements. So you probably can run it, but it does not mean you can run the final product.
No, indeed.
Okay.
And I mean, 9, I'm reading your comments as well. And yeah, of course, if you simply can't afford it, then, I mean, that's another story. But then again, you also need to wonder, I mean, Windows 10 is still, very good. It's still got a long way to go in terms of support. So you should still be fine. And I've also seeing some people asking, is there any benefit for gaming performance, for example, Windows 11? No. I saw some people saying that there was, some people that there wasn't. It's still kind of up in the air. I mean, it's all beta builds right now as well, so I don't know how much you could really take away from that. But once, for example, games come out that support direct storage, I mean, then you could probably, really benefit from that in terms of loading times. And if you're CPU limited with high FPS games, for example, that could also boost it even further. But apart from that, I'm not quite sure. I mean, the auto HDR feature. But then again, if you are that budget limited, I'm not quite sure if that's your main concern. So then you may be better off just keeping your money in your pocket for now and just continuing with Windows 10. And once, hopefully, in a while, the market is normalized anyway in terms of hardware pricing as well, you might have a really good chance of doing a really nice upgrade at that point, and then it's also solved. Yeah, I mean, Merrick is also saying, why would anyone want Windows 11 now? Wait at least 1 year after they're released to patch all the bugs and to be stable.
And
yeah, I mean,
not only that, also all the new features.
Yep.
Okay, probably auto HDR will work, but if you look at direct storage, games need to support it. And then in the beginning it's one, and then we have a live stream about it. You all say, why not more games? Same like FSR.
Because it always strikes me like now, Windows 11 is announced and like everybody wants to know, oh, can it run it? And if it's not, then it's almost like a panic, like, oh, I need to buy a TPM module. But it almost seems like people are just, getting caught up in the hype and kind of forgetting to take a step back and think like, wait a minute, how important is this for me right now? Do I really need this? Or can I just wait it out for a year, 2 years, and then see what's what.
And I will tell you a small secret. You can already download the Windows 11 wallpaper, so you might trick people into thinking you have the new OS.
And there's exactly, if you like the visual style, I think there's plenty of mod tools and stuff like that for Windows, so you can make it make Windows 10 look like Windows 11.
Yeah, indeed.
I remember in the old days, a lot of people did that with, what was it, when everybody was still using Windows XP, and then Vista came out or something like that, and then a lot of people liked the arrow look, right? And they started to mod the Windows XP to look like,
I will tell you
make it look like you had Vista or something like that.
On my Windows 10, I'm still running the classic menu, the classic style menu.
Yeah, a lot of people do that as well, because they don't really care about the visual style. They just want it to work as it works, and that's it.
Yeah. Okay, any more?
No, that's it.
That's it. That's the story about Windows 10.
Exactly.
The Windows 11. Anyway, so don't worry about the TPM part, and I'm sure Microsoft will open up.
Yeah.
But yeah, like what who was it? I think Merrick said, give it some time. I mean, 2022. Maybe you check, is Windows 11 something you want to run?
Forum 42087 is asking, does anybody know if the easy debug LEDs on a Z490 motherboard blue is good? I would have thought it would have been green. I think, they are bluish white or something.
This model, they're not RGB, so they're one color.
Yeah, so they don't change color if that's what you're asking.
And the good and bad is in the on and off.
Exactly. If something stays on during your boot process and it doesn't boot, then whatever the light, the LED is on basically, and the letter or what is it, the either CPU, RAM, storage, or GPU.
Yeah.
Then that will tell you what's causing the issue and basically help you to locate the problem.
And if you have one LED burning and there is smoke, switch it off.
Exactly. Then you've got a different problem.
Yeah.
All right. Okay.
I'm going to giveaway, Peter.
Yeah. I think that's a good timing. In the meantime, I will start up the game so we can do some visual comparison in Godfall.
So we can also play Fortnite. Just telling me.
I don't have it installed because again we just put this together this morning, this build, and there was literally nothing on there except Windows and a bunch of drivers. So
okay, next winner, Peter.
Eric, you could take this one if you want. I actually my throat is starting to hurt a little bit.
Okay. Yeah, you talk too much.
Always.
Okay, so giveaway time. Next winner is Andrei, I think, yes. Congratulations. In the coming days, probably next week, Peter will send you a Steam wallet code of $20 US. Enjoy it. Enjoy the summer sales, right, Peter? I didn't know this
Right
was
now,
going on.
the Steam summer sales go. Well,
Okay.
you're probably too old, right? You don't really look at the sale anymore.
I still look at sales. Well, I bookmarked some games I want, and
right.
sometimes it
You
pops
get a
up like,
notification.
yeah, indeed, like on my wish list.
Exactly. Yeah, I do the same. But anyway.
So if you want to join, you can still join our giveaway. Go to msi.com/2/insider or click in YouTube and in Twitch. Always need to think about that. In the Gleam links from our chat bot, spam bot.
Exactly. All right, so I've booted up the game. And as you can see, I'm on a 4K display, so the resolution is 4K. Super resolution is off right now. Image sharpening, the CAS is on though.
So this is Godfall, right?
This is Godfall, correct, yeah. And the quality preset is Epic, so you can see everything is on Epic. View distance, shadow quality, anti-aliasing, which honestly at 4K resolution probably isn't adding that much, but it's adding GPU load. Texture detail, everything is on Epic. And I've even enabled ray tracing, which you can see at the bottom here, is on. Everything else I just left on, pretty much on auto. I even left freaking bloom on and what is it? Motion blur. So that tells you, if I haven't turned motion blur off, that really tells you that I didn't change anything in the settings.
It's a benchmark.
Right? Exactly, yeah, because this is how I did the benchmarks. But also I just want to give you like the unfiltered experience and yeah, visuals. And I know that it's a bit screwy because obviously you're watching the stream, and depending on your connection, it's going to be a max of 1080p 60 FPS. So it's scaled down already from 4K. But I just wanted to give you some examples here.
So this is 4K. But can we not
4K.
in Afterburner display the resolution we're playing at?
Not sure.
That's a good idea for version.
I don't know. Let me see if we can bring it up. I don't think so, actually.
What kind of GPU are you using? Question in chat.
This is the RX 6700 XT Gaming X. So it's the latest generation of the AMD cards, but not the one that was originally targeted at 4K resolution, which is also what you're seeing here. I mean, 38, 40 FPS, that's not really ideal for 4K. But let me just quickly see if I can display something like the resolution. There's a hell of a lot of things we can display here. No. I could potentially put in some custom text, but I'm not gonna bother with that right now. So no. Or maybe I skipped over it because I'm just really scrolling quickly.
Just continue.
Yeah.
But just a suggestion.
Exactly. I'm using the latest drivers, by the way. I just downloaded them this morning as well. So yeah, this is the latest everything. And I really haven't played the game. I don't really know how to do that. I just use it as a graphics benchmark at the moment. So yeah, but you can see, it's about 40 FPS or something like 35, 34, dipping down a little bit depending on what I'm doing. But it looks really, really nice. Obviously, there's a lot of detail in the plants and the reflections. Even though it's not like mirror, but you can pretty much.
Is this ray tracing on?
Yes, this is ray tracing on indeed. And I'm not sure if there's any other surface. Well, the thing I'm walking on, for example. I mean, you can see the shadow and my reflection separately. And well, this railing, for example, it should be. I mean, it's not that shiny. It's more like.
Can you include the frame time, Peter?
I can, yes, I think.
It's not my request.
No,
it's in the chat.
Oh, crap! I already. Why does this window keep closing? Here we go. Let me see. Monitoring. Frame time. There we go. Show on screen. Does it show? There we go. So you see Direct 3D or D3, D12 means DirectX 12 it's running, and you see the FPS, and then after that, that's the frame time.
26 dot something.
Yeah, 20, 24, 25 milliseconds, 28 if I get a little bit rowdy and start quickly changing the direction. I honestly have no idea how to jump. There may be a button here that I missed.
The big bar on the bottom?
Yeah, I'm trying, but that just makes me spin kick. So, I
No
don't know.
tutorial for you?
No, I didn't actually.
Maybe,
oh, wow.
maybe.
Just pressing X just makes you do a 180.
But maybe you should not go this way. Maybe you first need to kill some big bad enemy.
There's nothing to kill yet. I mean, I can.
So it's true. You really did some benchmarks. You didn't play this game.
No, yeah, exactly. yeah. You're convinced now, are you?
Yeah, indeed.
Yeah. But anyway, it looks really, really good. Perhaps I'm supposed to go this way. There were some slain enemies here anyway, but it just looks like a giant platform. Not really anywhere to go from here.
I will Google stuck in Godfall level 1.
Noob gamer.
I just spawned. What should I do?
C or control? Yeah, that's. I don't know.
Maybe you need to reset the. Peter.
What?
Probably there's some settings where you can find the jump.
Probably, yeah, but I mean, it's not really about that, is it? Because what I want to do now is just change some of the visual settings. So what I will do is go here and then just enable FSR in ultra quality, right? And then I want you guys to look at the both the visual difference and the performance difference.
Oh, sorry, can you go back? I think this is quite confusing. I mean, we're talking about FSR,
yes,
and that's how you talk about something like this.
FidelityFX Super Resolution.
But basically it's called FidelityFX Super Resolution.
Oh yeah, FSR.
Yeah, I mean,
that's why.
A bit confusing.
I don't know, I mean, GPU, graphics processing unit.
Yeah, okay, that one, but I mean...
But yeah, it's FidelityFX Super Resolution here. You've got it's different quality settings. This is the highest one, ultra quality, and already we went from how much FPS were we getting before? Like
38 something,
35, 38.
Yeah.
Now we're up to 50, 60.
Yeah, it looks like the frame time also dropped.
Yes, so considerably. We went from in the 20s, 25 to 29. So it's almost cut 10 milliseconds off the frame time. So that's pretty nice as well. Jump into that stuff and it'll teleport you. I don't even know how to jump.
That's the problem, the jump part.
I can sprint though. Anyway, this looks like if just by looking at this, I'm just looking like I should be able to jump up there.
Fall.
But you can see, I mean,
Peter
I don't know if you're able. Yeah, Peter sucks. I don't know if you guys are able to tell the visual difference by enabling FSR. But I'm not really able to tell the difference here.
It says Charlie.
Objectively.
C, Peter.
C? Well, yeah. Pressing C. Maybe I need to be at the edge for that to work. But just pressing C like this doesn't do anything. Nope. I'm pressing C.
Can you go to settings?
Yeah, maybe I unbound all of the things. Sprint, interact, evade, light attack, quick turn, takedown. What the hell? There's no jump. Are you kidding me?
Okay.
There is no jump.
The game is broken.
Okay.
No, it's evade is probably jump.
What was evade? Spacebar. I was pressing spacebar. That was the first thing I did.
Are you sure you need to go this way?
No. I don't have game sound, so I'm not sure if the game sound is too loud for you guys. That could be the case.
Let me check.
Find the Sunforge temple entrance. Is it this thing? Nah. That would be too easy. But I mean, it's about the visual quality, right? So let's try and focus on that. But for me, sitting here, you know, objectively or subjectively, because it's my opinion, it's hard for me to tell the difference in the details as I'm, you know, walking, running around, trying to play the game. And I've got a pretty significant boost in performance here, so that's pretty nice. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go down the effect quality settings. So now I'm going to from ultra quality to quality, and let's see what that does. Both in visual fidelity, well, in performance, you can see we're now up to in the 70 FPS. Well, down into the 60s if I move fast. Frame time again drops significantly, now into the low 10s. And yeah, I mean, the graphics are holding up pretty nicely. I'm starting to see some softer edges, but it's not even bothering me that much. As in, it doesn't feel like, oh, it's a lower resolution. So that's still pretty good. And again, this is with ray tracing enabled. And now, I mean, there's a lot of detail in here, so I might want to stay here so you guys can see a lot of that. Now,
maybe Grabble?
What?
Grabble.
Grabble. What GPU is this on? This is on the 6700
Grabble
XT.
the blue diamond thingy. We're helping you to beat the end boss.
If you mean starting out in the game. Now I'm putting it on balance, so this is the second lowest.
Is
quality
SAM
mode.
enabled?
I have no idea. I don't even know if that's relevant for this specific technology.
No, but then you would get more FPS.
Are you sure?
Depends on the game, indeed.
Exactly. Anyway, so this is the balance mode. Now I'm really starting to see and notice that, yeah, it looks a lot more hazy and blurry. You know, it's lacking more sharpness. It's starting to you know, show a bit more shimmering as well. So that means that there's like there's gaps it's trying to fill in some of the, especially the shiny parts. So yeah, this is definitely more noticeable, because again, it's basically a reconstructive algorithm, which means that it needs information on which it can reconstruct. If it's missing certain parts, then it's not going to be able to reconstruct those based on the information it has.
Good question in chat. Is FSR FPS boost dependent on the CPU? I don't think so.
That is a good question. I'm inclined to say no, but I guess it depends, because if you're, for example, if you're playing, no, I think it is, because what we saw also in some of the benchmarks is if you're CPU limited in some cases and you enable FSR, it doesn't really add anything to your FPS. So it depends. If the situation that you have, you are already CPU limited, then no, you will not gain anything from enabling FSR. If you are GPU limited, so basically you're limited by what your GPU can handle, that's the case where you can really benefit from FSR.
Okay, Peter, Forza E2 has a solution. Look at the blue thing on the other side and press C to go to the other side.
Oh. On the other side of that bridge, I guess.
Yeah.
Oh,
hey!
Wow! Holy crap! All right, cool. There we go.
Yeah.
Thanks, guys.
Stick
Thanks.
to CS:GO and the games we normally play.
Stick to benchmark.
Yeah.
Yeah. But anyway, so yeah, this is noticeable. But I mean, my FPS just went up to 80 to low 90s even, so that's pretty nice. And now I'm going to go all the way down in the graphic settings to performance. So this is really sacrificing visual quality, and I mean, you can really see that as well.
Yeah.
Everything's starting to look very low.
But it's quite instant.
Res.
You just go to settings and it's there.
Yeah. But yeah, this is definitely noticeable, and I wouldn't recommend this, because it's really, I mean, if you're playing 4K, you have certain standards, I guess, that you want to reach. Otherwise, why would you try and play on 4K? And this really is more of a lower resolution experience that you're getting in this regard. So that's really not recommended. But on the other hand, again, if your goal is maximum FPS, now I'm above 100. So that is significant.
4K.
At 4K indeed, yeah. And with ray tracing on. Because again, I can also just disable ray tracing. Or actually, no, I can't, because I need to restart the game. So I'm not going to do that for now. What I am going to do, though, is go back to turning FSR off. And I'm going to switch resolution now to 1440p. Because I also want you guys to see what difference it makes, the different modes of FSR per resolution. So I hope this scales correctly for you guys. It will make the text a whole lot bigger indeed. And so this is just native. So no FSR enabled here. This is just 1440p native. And well, yeah, I mean, this looks pretty nice. Actually, it looks very nice, very sharp. You know, good edges, good detail. Yeah, pretty good. Is this somebody I need to beat? Yeah, I guess. All right, cool. There we go. He reminds me of the guy in the Firestrike benchmark.
Oh yeah.
Anyway, okay, let's just take a little view. Okay, so the frame time is already in the low 10 milliseconds, 12, 13, and FPS is around 80 FPS. So yeah, already pretty decent, I'd say. Then now I'm going to enable FidelityFX. Oh no, don't want to change the resolution to ultra quality. And again, for me, the visual experience is still pretty damn close to native 4040p. I mean, there are some differences, and some of the edges and details are becoming a little bit softer. But especially if I'm just, if I'm going to power through a game like this, then I'm not going to be standing there like, with open mouth drooling at detail. So it's less noticeable if you're actually playing a game versus if you're looking for differences, which is what I'm doing now.
That's the same what I did in Battlefield with ray tracing. I mean, it looks nice if you pay attention, but if you're trying to kill somebody or run away.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Hey, these guys are fighting each other. That's nice.
Just wait.
Yeah, exactly. And my FPS has gone up to above 100, so that's pretty nice. And frame time has gone under 10 milliseconds. So yeah, to answer you guys' question, I mean, I already had a suspicion that it would definitely help with lowering frame times. And well, here you have your answer. And this is the ultra quality. This is just, again, I'm not feeling like I'm sacrificing any kind of visual quality by going from FSR off, from native to ultra quality setting. It just gives me more FPS, more performance, and lower frame time. So that's a big win-win. But if I then go down to, for example, quality setting, let's do that one first. Let's take it step by step. Here now, especially looking at, for example, the plants already, the lower the resolution, you're beginning to notice more of a difference in terms of visual quality and sharpness at the moment. So at 4040p, I think even quality is already starting to impact the visual quality a little bit. I still would call this playable and not too disturbing, not too distracting from the game experience itself. But yeah, I would pretty much, in this case, prefer to stick with, see, I'm going to do it again. Prefer to stick with ultra quality, if I can. And then, I mean, the frame time, again, it's gone down again. It's already pretty damn low. There is a little bit more up and down in the FPS department, though. You can see it's now up to 130, 120. In some parts, I thought it was up to about a 140 or something. I saw just before, but so yeah, if you're using a 4040p display with, for example, 144 Hertz, this is already approaching, a point where it's pretty nice. But then if I go even lower on the quality settings, like balanced or performance after this, I mean, here it really starts to feel like, things are missing, and in the distance, things are starting to look a bit unclear and hazy. So yeah, then it's becoming, or it's starting to feel like, it's lower resolution and really starts to impact some of the gameplay experience. But still, I mean, again, if it's simply your PC holding you back, this will enable you to play the game, and this is still with ray tracing enabled as well. So I also kind of have to highlight that, I feel, because that's still on, and it's also still impacting the performance. So if I were to turn ray tracing off, I would probably be easily getting over 144 FPS in this current setting. Going for performance then, just to cover the complete spectrum. I mean, yeah, this is really not recommended. It's doable, but you really feel like you're playing on a low resolution system, and a lot of the details are missing. It's just looking very, it's lacking a lot of detail.
Yeah.
Very, very blurry, very hazy. So yeah, also not that recommended, I'd say. But if you look at my FPS, it's now over 150, and this is also again with ray tracing enabled. So in terms of the performance and the FPS you win by doing this, it is quite impressive. Frame time also now dropped to about 5 milliseconds, so it's also again a pretty big gain.
And of course, this differs per game, so you always need to check the game.
And so now, I mean, to paint you the complete picture, I'm also going to, I'm going to go back to turning FSR off. And I'm going to switch my resolution to Full HD 1080p. Now, for me, this will look really weird because it's a pretty big monitor I've got in front of me. It's a 4K monitor, so obviously, playing 1080p on it is going to look a bit washed out anyway. On a native 1080p display, it will look much crisper usually, because also those will be a bit smaller. I'm not quite sure. This is a 32-inch monitor, so playing 1080p on that is usually not that nice of an experience anyway. Not if you're looking for high resolution high resolution things. I'm going to make the text, the overlay from the OSD text a little bit smaller, because now it's covering too much of the screen, I feel. Let me see. Yeah, I think this is fine. Here we go. I think it's going to pick up again, the signal. Yeah, here we go. So you can see 1080p, everything is still on ultra, ray tracing enabled, and no FidelityFX super resolution, no FSR enabled. Well, you can see FPS, not a problem. Over 100, very low frame time as well. With well, it's varying actually quite a bit, but yeah. But yeah, I mean, it has a lot of detail. If you're playing on a native Full HD display, it should be fine. And I'm not sure if you're supposed to be doing this, but I'm just hacking and slashing here. There we go, beat him. Now once this guy's down, I'll switch FSR on. And I'm not quite sure how this is impacting for you guys, because obviously the stream is 1080p on your end anyway, so there might be a lot of compression that you don't see that much difference, but I'm hoping you do. So yeah, just enabling FSR already, even in ultra settings, it's doable, but for me it's already starting to become a bit noticeable. Still, this would be somewhat doable in if you're just playing the game. But a lot of the details and edges are already becoming quite soft, and yeah, it would, especially coming from, and now I'm doing a direct comparison obviously, but it would start to bother me a little bit. Frame rate, again, gone up a lot, and so the frame time has come down again. Again, this is just what happens with every, with every step down the setting list. Oh damn, this guy has a gun. That's not fair. Don't bring a gun to a knife to a sword fight. Oh, there's more.
Question, does the resolution or when using a 720p monitor affect the FSR on games?
Sorry, what was the question?
The last one.
Does the resolution or when using a 720p monitor? Yes, I mean, that's exactly what I'm trying to show you now, that the resolution, like the resolution of your monitor, or your base resolution basically, it really depends, because once you start applying FSR, that means that your the graphics card is going to render the game in a resolution one step down at least. Yeah. So if you are at 720p, that's going to be what? 560? Or what is the next step down? Yeah. Something like that. So what you need to keep in mind there is with each step down that your graphics card renders the game, it's going to be losing some of its detail, because those are, some of the details will no longer be rendered by the graphics card itself. And because FSR is a reconstructive algorithm or system technology, any information that it doesn't have in a native rendering, it can also not reconstruct into a high resolution image. So yeah, that's really what you're seeing happening here as well, is that it's trying to fill in gaps and blanks, but because it doesn't have any information, it's just trying to extend the things that it does know, and that's going to look blurry or like rubbed out almost. I mean,
some people are saying 640, 560.
Yeah. And I mean, this is 1080p with the ultra quality preset. If I go down further, like quality in this case.
But are there still 720p monitors?
Sure, there are, probably. But yeah, you can really start to see also on my character, for example, things are starting to look very blurry. On the ground, you're really starting to see some more noise, some more
this game is
shimmering.
Called Godfall.
Yes, Godfall, indeed. I mean, it's a really nice game, and I agree. Some people already said in the chat that it looks amazing. It does, especially at higher resolution. Putting FidelityFX in even lower settings like balanced or performance, I'm going to show you guys just for completion's sake. But yeah, I mean, a lot of the detail is lost here. So the lower your base resolution on a 720p monitor, if that's your base resolution, I really wouldn't recommend using FSR, because it's really going to impact your visual performance a lot. But if, for example, you are playing on a 4K monitor, yeah, then it can, both the ultra quality and quality presets are still really nice and give you a really good FPS boost. And even on 4040p, just switching from native resolution to ultra quality, yeah, the visual difference is it's quite hard to notice, but you do get like a 20% FPS boost for free, and your frame time improves as well.
And what's even more for free is a giveaway.
Yep.
Hey, that's.
And just again, for completion's sake, I'll now switch to performance mode here. But I mean, here you can really see, I mean, it just looks so fuzzy. Everything just looks blurry and fuzzy, and there's lots of shimmering. Like, you can just see the algorithm is trying to fill in the gaps, but the information is just not there. And that's what's causing this to look very, very blurry like that.
Okay, so let me do the next winner. Next winner of the giveaway is DFX Factory. Congratulations. You can still participate if you go to YouTube or Twitch. You can click on the bot link, otherwise go to msi.com/2/insider to join the giveaway. We should have like a recording for this.
Yeah, we should, yeah.
Like a jingle.
Exactly. So yeah, you can see, I mean, my FPS is going through the roof now with almost up to 300, well, 250, I would say. But yeah, I mean, at what cost? Because it doesn't quite look that good anymore. So, I mean, would you label this as an enjoyable experience? I don't know. I don't know if I'll be able to beat this guy if he gets another swing at me. And then, oh, there's a guy shooting me at the edge there as well. That's not fair. Oh, and he made the wrong decision to come over here. I'm not quite sure how I can regain health. Oh, I died.
How are you using ray tracing?
Yes, it's still enabled here.
AMD
actually.
GPUs? Well, AMD GPUs also support ray tracing, if you talk about the latest generation.
Yes, correct. Well, actually,
Peter, I'm still in my mind like, is this NDA or not? Everything I say like, is this NDA? No, it's public, okay.
I'm not sure if I can reach this guy, actually. I guess I could just ignore him.
What is the difference between FSR and DLSS? Well, to start with, DLSS is using hardware. They're using the tensor cores. So you need to have one of the GPUs who is capable of
Turing or Ampere, indeed, with dedicated ray tracing, the ray tracing cores. Otherwise, you can't use. Oh, sorry, DLSS uses tensor cores. Sorry, it's not ray tracing cores.
Indeed, and FSR can run on almost each. Recent
any GPU as long as it uses, was it shader version 5 or newer?
Yeah, so basically it also runs on the NVIDIA GPUs or integrated graphics. No, we don't know if FSR is going to Warzone, but when we talked with AMD earlier this live stream, a lot of people said Warzone, and I said Battlefield, of course.
Yeah. So yeah, going or using FSR, even ultra quality on 1080p, you can still do it, but yeah, it will really, your visual experience won't be that good. Ultra quality is still doable, but anything below that is really not recommended. Oh, you know this thing, it's almost like Dark Souls, right? You have to dodge and stuff like that. I'm not good at those kinds of games. I'm just one of those get in there and you know, kick some ass kind of like get in your face. Not like, oh, I need to time this roll perfectly so I don't get smashed. I don't even know what I'm doing here. So, yeah, shall we? Maybe I can switch back to 4K as well. Actually, wait, because people were asking about lower resolutions, right?
Yeah.
720p. Okay. I'm going to do this for you guys, but I'm already regretting it.
Oh, capture card can do this.
Yes. So first, FSR off, right? So this is native 720p. Oh man, this is so gonna suck. But all right, it's for you guys, right? Anything
so you're
for
playing
you guys.
720p on a 4K monitor?
Yes. Look at the text, right? It's look at the OSD. It's covering my whole freaking screen.
Yeah.
Anyway. All right, it's already not that great, but it's doable. It's it's got a nostalgic feel to it. That's nice.
We played a lot of years in this resolution.
Yes. But you ain't seen nothing yet. Okay. Ultra quality. All right, let's go. So nice jump in FPS, but oh man, it's already everything is becoming fuzzy already. All right. Let's go one step further. Quality. So this is just for the guy who was asking about 720p, right? Okay. So everything is beginning to look a bit wonky, and
looks like a smartphone game.
Very, yeah, exactly. Or like maybe PlayStation 1 or you know the first gen PlayStation graphics, Tomb Raider first version. All right, but we're not there yet. We're not there yet, guys. Stick with me. Balanced mode. All right.
I think there is some promotion running in the chat for some reason. Some people are saying
if you're just joining the stream and you're watching on your smartphone, you don't have to grab any towels or a cloth. It's not your screen that's you know
damaged.
Yeah, or causing the blurriness. This is just why on 720p the use of FSR is not really recommended, especially not just in general not, but I just want to show you, also the limitations and how I've already shown you how good it can get. So to be fair, and it's maybe also entertaining to see how bad it can get, right? So, performance mode. You guys ready for this? Hold on to your ankles. Holy crap! Yeah, I mean this is a whole new level of blurry and hazy. But yeah, to be fair, it's not. It's still ray tracing, right? Look at that. We've still got ray tracing. But yeah, this is not recommended, especially not playing on a 4K screen. This looks this looks horrible. Let me see if there's a resolution even below this. There is actually. Okay. All right. Oof. Okay. This is just
This is how old people see.
Yeah, but this is just it's a different display.
I don't see any difference, Peter.
It's because it's basically just a display aspect ratio that's different. So the resolution itself is not that much different from the last one. It's anyway. So yeah, there you have it. And now I'm going to go back and save my eyes from maybe I'm going to need surgery after this. Whew. All right. Performance, no. Ultra quality. There we go. And we're back at 4K.
Wow.
I mean, coming from 720p with performance preset, yes, this is freaking wow. But yeah, this is really what it's meant for. And without using FidelityFX, I would here now have, because I'm above 70, right? 70.
Some people are saying 300 frames.
Let me just, yeah. If you want 300 frames, it's possible.
It's possible.
So native without FSR enabled, I'm at 40s, 45. You know, I'm way under 60 FPS, and it's feeling a little bit slow, sluggish. You know, when I'm trying to move around. Frame time, also pay attention to that. This is low 20s, 23, and then you know just by turning FSR on. Oh wait, no, other side. Quality mode, ultra quality mode. Just by turning that on, boom, I'm way above 60 FPS. And also almost 10 milliseconds shaved off the frame time, and it's feeling way more responsive already, way less sluggish.
From blurry to HD.
Yeah,
indeed.
Pretty much. Yeah. It's still not going to improve my skills in trying to beat this guy, by the way.
Well, just try it. One
oh,
last
crap,
time.
He's regenerated his health. No! Oh, that's not fair. He has a swipe attack. Oh, he's going to blast. Right, yeah, I'm definitely going to die here. Oh, damn, he has a burn effect as well. It's a dot. Oh, I can do something like this. Oof. Ignite. I need to regain some health. How do I do that? I don't know. Oh, actually, I have a shield. Didn't even know that either. Look at that. That would have come in handy. Oh, I need to beat this guy. Oh, where do I find more health? Maybe I just need to die, and then you know I'll return. I'll be back with all my health. No, there's no health in here.
If he regens as well.
I don't know. Yeah, he does. That's the whole thing. Why I don't think this will help that much. Oh crap! All right, let's speed up. Power punch. Uh-oh. Alright, let's see if I can time this now. Oh, no, this is the burn move, right? Yeah, I need to stay out of that area. Hey, why did my... oh, here we go. Oof. Oh, okay, yeah. Well, we tried. Luckily, it's not about my gaming skills here. But yeah, I think it's really nice to see that even though in some cases DLSS 2.0, yeah, of course, in some cases that might be better if you do a direct comparison. But then again, if you give FSR the same amount of time that DLSS has to develop, so you know, give it a year or two, I'm pretty sure FSR will also make some additional big steps and will be supported by more games. So yeah. It's just it's got a lot of potential, I would say.
Yeah. The bad guy works out.
Exactly. That bad guy does work out, yeah. So yeah, I'm pretty much done with this part, unless you guys have any questions about it. I've seen plenty of discussion and questions about, you know, which one is better, DLSS or FSR, and you know,
give it some time.
Both have their big benefits. Both have some limitations.
In the end, it's good for the consumer.
Yeah, in the end, I think FSR does bring a pretty nice boost to a lot of people, more people than DLSS, because it supports any and all GPUs within.
And you know, best case in the future, everything gets supported everywhere.
Yeah.
That you don't have to say, I want this game, but it doesn't support DLSS, only FSR, or I want to buy AMD because. Yeah. But it takes time.
Yeah. Anyway, like also what Warren mentioned, this is just a start. It's in its infancy. It just started out. So yeah, in the future we'll see what will change, what other games will support it. Eric, maybe do one more giveaway.
Yes.
It's the Steam summer sale. So you know, let's make some people happy.
Ooh.
So Eric is drawing the last winner for today's stream.
It's A van Beurden. Oh.
No, I think we disqualified that guy already a couple of times.
Okay.
Yeah. He's a persistent one, though.
I know. Even if I'm not here, I try to join. But
he's a little bit too eager to win.
Yeah.
All right. So I think the last name is Nazmul.
Nazmul. Congrats.
Nazmul. congratulations. You also win a $20 Steam wallet code, which we will send out to you as soon as possible, so you can enjoy it during the Steam summer sale.
Yeah.
Next week we will have, I think, Mike, right?
Yeah,
Mike, and we'll still have to see who will be joining him. But he will be looking at the MPG Gaming Maverick bundle kit. So
we are still discussing, is it Maverick, is it Maverick, is it...
No, I think it's Maverick. But yeah, what it is, basically, it's like a starter kit for your own build. So it delivers, or it includes already a lot of the components that you need. It's just missing a couple of them, which you then need to add on yourself. But it's a nice way if you're, you don't want to select all the parts of your build yourself, or maybe if you just, think that the build, the Maverick build being offered is already a good deal. It's a nice Kickstarter, basically, for your next build.
So next week, all about that.
And yeah, thanks for joining, everybody. I really hope you enjoyed this stream. I did. FSR, really cool technology. Also really nice that AMD was able to join us, Warren. And yeah, let's hope we hear from them more in the future. And who knows, we'll have Warren back in the stream soon and talking about the new developments of FSR.
2.0.
Guys, thank you very much, and we hope to see you next week.
Stay safe.
Stay safe. Take care.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.